Hi, hello, my dear students. This is your Prasanna Harikrishna sir, Assistant Professor of Botany, SRR Government Arts and Science College, Karimnagar. So, in this session, we are going to discuss about red drop phenomenon, or you can say red drop effect. In the last session, we have discussed the entire picture of Hill reaction, or on the other hand, you can say that photolysis of water. Clear? So this is a concept which is included in the first phase of photosynthesis, that is light phase. Okay, so as I told you in my earlier sessions, that is photosynthesis can be categorized into two basic phases or two basic stages. One is light phase. Clear? Then the second one is dark phase. Clear? So light phase and dark phase, these two are the stages, or you can say steps in photosynthetic mechanism of the plants. So light phase takes place in the thylakoids, or you can say grana, and the dark phase takes place in the stroma, or the liquid proportion, or you can say matrix of the chloroplast can be called as stroma. Clear? So in this light phase we have several stages or several types. So one of the types is photolysis of water, then followed by another concept, that is red drop. Clear? So in this session we'll discuss the entire picture of red drop of light phase, or you can say photosynthesis in the plants. Clear? So red drop, this was propounded by the scientist named Robert Emerson. Who is that? Robert Emerson was a scientist who propounded the concept, who put forth the concept red drop. So red drop. So he has done a very good experiments or a very good contribution on chlorella. Okay, so chlorella is basically a chlorophycean algal member. So algae or alga. You can differentiate these two terms, alga and algae. So alga indicates singular, algae indicates plural. Clear? So chlorella is an example of chlorophycean alga. It belongs to chlorophyceae. Okay, so chlorophyceae is one of the algal members. You can say you remember this chlorophyceae included in algae. So according to F.E. Fridge, so F.E. Fridge was a greatest algal related scientist, or you can say phycologist. So he categorized, or he classified entire algae into 11 classes. So one of the 11 classes is chlorophyceae. Clear? Remember always, chloro always indicates green color, whereas phyceae is group of algal members, or you can say group of plants. Clear? So phyceae indicates group of organisms or group of algal members, or you can say group of plants, whereas chloro, whenever you hear the term, whenever you read the term, whenever you remember the word chloro, it indicates green color. Hence the leaves are in green color due to having chlorophyll pigments. Clear? So then chlorophycean algal member is one of the algal member according to F.E. Fridge. So in this category we have one of the examples of chlorophyceae, that is chlorella. Okay, so in this particular algal member, this particular scientist called Robert Emerson had done very good research over this particular alga. So what he has done on this chlorella or chlorophycean algal member, for example, he isolated chloroplast from this particular alga. Right? He isolated chloroplast. For example, this is chlorella. So it is unicellular alga. Unicellular alga. So unicellular means cellular, nothing but having cells. Uni means single. Okay, so uni always indicates single, means it is made up of only a single cell. Clear? So this particular algal member is unicellular alga, means it contains only a single cell. Okay, so it has abundant chloroplast inside the cytoplasm. For example, these are all the chloroplast. Clear? So if you separate or if you isolate one single chloroplast from this entire algal member, for example, I isolate this particular chloroplast. For example, this is a chloroplast of chlorella. Okay, so every chloroplast is enclosed with two membranes. I have already told you in my earlier sessions. Clear? So this one is, outer layer, then followed by inner layer. So between these two layers, for example, this is the outer layer, this is the inner layer. In between these two layers, we have, a space, a gap or space. This particular space can be called as periplastidial space. Okay, periplastidial space is found in between outer and inner layers of chloroplast. If you observe, mitochondria, so mitochondria is also enclosed with two layers, or you can say it is a double membraned cell organelle. So in that there is outer layer and also inner layer. In between these two layers in the mitochondria, there is a space called as perimitochondrial space. Clear? So ikkada, so in this particular context, remember there is a space between two layers, that is outer layer and inner layer. That space can be called as periplastidial space. In mitochondria, you remember perimitochondrial space. Clear? So now, come inside. These are all the disc-like or plate-like structures. These disc-like structures all individually called as thylakoids. So this particular is group of thylakoids. Group of thylakoids can be called as grana. Okay, so grana nothing but group of thylakoids, membranes, or you can say thylakoid discs, or you can say thylakoid plates. Clear? So now what Robert Emerson done on chlorella, he isolated chloroplast from the organism. Then he penetrates, he exposes or he sent two kinds of sunlight onto chloroplast of chlorella. So what kind of what kind of sunlight or what kind of frequency of light penetrates on this particular chlorophycean alga? For example, he used two kinds of wavelengths of sunlight. One is, remember, one wavelength is P700, or you can say 700. Just remember 700 lambda. Write 700 lambda, or you can remember 700 h nu. So h nu indicates what? Sunlight. Okay. The wavelength of this particular sunlight is 700. If you observe electromagnetic spectrum, means, for example, this is a sun. Right, sunlight reaches the surface of the earth every day. Clear? If you observe, this entire proportion of sunlight which is coming from the sun has different kinds of sunlights, different kinds of wavelengths. We know very well about VIBGYOR. You might have VIBGYOR several times in your lifetime, or you can you might have studied this type of VIBGYOR in several books. Clear? So VIBGYOR is a kind of sunlight which is coming from the sun to surface of the earth. And also this entire electromagnetic spectrum is composed with different lights. One of the examples is VIBGYOR. Another context, another examples are UV rays. Ultraviolet rays are available in the sunlight. IR rays, infrared rays are available in the electromagnetic spectrum, or you can say sunlight, and cosmic rays, X-rays, gamma rays, etc. Clear? So apart from all the sunlights which is coming from the sun, so this VIBGYOR is useful for our process, that is photosynthetic mechanism. Clear? So this VIBGYOR starts with 390 nanometers. 390 nanometers of wavelength, right? 390 nanometers of wavelength. It ends with red, that is 760 nanometers of wavelength. Clear? So this VIBGYOR starts with 390 nanometers of wavelength of sunlight and ends with red color. It has 760 nanometers of wavelength. Clear? So now this particular scientist Robert Emerson used two types of wavelengths of red light only. For example, this red light has two different wavelengths. One is 700 HNU and second one is 650 nanometers, or you can say nanometers of sunlight. Okay, 650 nanometers of sunlight and 700 nanometers of sunlight. But this Robert Emerson used this 700 nanometers of sunlight at once and followed by 650 nanometers of sunlight on the other hand. For example, he used 650 nanometers of sunlight first. What he done? He exposes the chloroplast to 650 nanometers of sunlight. Clear? So what happens after exposing after exposure of 650 nanometers of sunlight to the chloroplast? What happens actually? Then it happens due to this particular sunlight. This entire sunlight is received by the chloroplast and there will be a production of glucose, or you can say carbohydrates, or you can say photosynthetic rate. So photosynthetic process takes place due to the sunlight, that is 650 nanometers of sunlight. So what kind of what amount of glucose or carbohydrate can be formed when you expose 650 nanometers of sunlight to the chloroplast? Remember Robert Emerson, when the Robert Emerson used 650 nm of sunlight, the photosynthetic rate will be 42 units. Remember. So how many units of photosynthetic product that can be glucose or carbohydrate? 42 units of glucose or carbohydrate is formed when you expose 650 nanometers of sunlight to chloroplast. So this is the first kind of experiment. Then he used another sunlight, that is red. Both are red, but the sunlight is 700 nanometers of sunlight. Clear? So when chloroplast exposed with 700 nanometers of sunlight, the photosynthetic rate will be just 10 units. Just 10 units only. When he exposed chloroplast with 650 nanometers of sunlight, so he noticed that the photosynthetic rate is 42 units. When he exposed chloroplast with higher wavelength or higher sunlight, that is 700 nanometers, the photosynthetic rate will be just 10 units. Clear? So first he has done with low wavelength of sunlight, that is 650 nm. He has done with higher wavelength of sunlight, that is 700 nanometers. Clear? So when he exposed 650, the units will be 42. When he exposed 700, the units will be only 10. Right? So both are red light and both are monochromatic light. Remember, monochromatic sunlight. Mono indicates single, chroma indicates color. So what color of sunlight he used in his experiments? That is red color. So red color has two different compositions. One is 650 nm wavelength of sunlight. On the other hand, we have another wavelength of sunlight, that is 700 nanometers. Clear? Now what he done after performing these two monochromatic light experiments, he has done another experiment. What is that? For example, I am drawing the picture here. Just see carefully. This is chloroplast of chlorella. Okay. Then he used two different colors of sunlight. That is 700 means higher wavelength of sunlight. That is 650 nm lower wavelength of sunlight. But in this particular context, he used two different sunlights at once. Clear? Caught my point? In his previous experiments, what he has done, first he used 650, then followed by 700. But in this particular experiment, he used two different wavelengths of sunlight at once. Okay? He exposed the chloroplast with 700 as well as 650 nanometers of sunlight at once. Then he observed that the photosynthetic rate will be 72 units. What is that? 72 units, right? Remember, when the chloroplast is exposed with 650 nanometers, the photosynthetic rate will be just 42 units. When the chloroplast is exposed with 700 nanometers, the photosynthetic rate will be just 10 units. If you combine together 42 plus 10, how much? How much? The units will be just 42 plus 10, 52 units, right? When the chloroplast is exposed with two wavelengths of sunlight at a single, at a single stretch, the units will be 72. This is, massive change, massive growth he observed in this particular experiment. This kind of change, this kind of transformation can be called as synergetic growth. What is that? Synergetic growth. Synergetic growth. He used the word synergetic growth in his last experiment. Clear? Then he noticed that there will be, for example, this is a chloroplast. Inside the chloroplast we have thylakoids. For example, if you take one single thylakoid from the chloroplast, it looks like this. This is the structure of thylakoids. Clear? So in these thylakoid membranes, there are different kinds of systems. These systems can be called as PS, photosystems. Those systems inside the thylakoids are called as photosystems or pigment systems. Okay. Then after performing this particular experiment, he came forward with two kinds of photosystems are there inside the thylakoid membranes. These two kinds of photosystems absorb two types of sunlight. For example, if you give 650 nm of sunlight, 650 nm of sunlight is absorbed by one photosystem or one kind of system. Then if you give 700 nanometers of sunlight, then this can be received by another system. Means every wavelength of sunlight is received by one particular system. When it receives this particular sunlight, then the electrons will be in exciting condition, or electrons will be lost after receiving different kinds of sunlight. Clear? So finally he observed and he noticed that these thylakoid layers have different photosystems or different pigment systems. These different pigment systems receive different wavelengths of sunlight. Clear? He observed and he came forward with two photosystems. Remember, PS1 and PS2. These two kinds of photosystems are there in the thylakoids of chloroplast of thylakoids of grana of chloroplast. One is PS1, that is photosystem 1, and the PS2, that is photosystem 2. So this is about experiment, that is Robert Emerson. Then come to our heading, that is red drop. What is red drop? Drop nothing but falling. Drop means what? Falling. So there is a falling of photosynthetic rates in the presence of red sunlight. If you give 650 nm of red sunlight, the photosynthetic rate will be 42. If you give independently, that is 700 nanometers of sunlight, the photosynthetic rate will be just 10 units. Means, so individual sunlights, if the individual sunlights are penetrated inside the chloroplast, the photosynthetic rate will be dropped. So this condition, this phenomenon or this process can be called as a red drop. Photosynthetic rate will be dropped when you expose the chloroplast with red sunlight. Okay, independently. So when you combine together, when you combine two kinds of sunlight, the photosynthetic rate will be high. So this is about today's session. My dear students, this concept is very important for both academic exams as well as competitive examinations like PG entrance examinations of different universities across pan India. Clear? So if you don't understand in a proper way, just repeat it repeat it once, and just you can go through the textbooks which are available in the libraries of every college in the particular state, that is Telangana. Clear? So thank you one and all. In next session we will come with another new concept. We'll discuss another new concept in next session. Thank you one and all.